Happy Memorial Day. This is Stephen Nelson with OEFC West. I'm joined by Seny Gueye. I hope I said that. Did I pronounce that right, Seny?
Gay, gay.
Gay?
Yes.
Okay, like Marvin Gaye?
Yes,
Seny Gueye?
exactly.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
awesome. One of our new club coaches in the Newcastle area. Seny, it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast. This is episode 7, I believe. Part 6 of The Person Behind the Coach, where we do an in-depth interview of our coaches on staff to help introduce them to our club members, and for any incoming players, they'll have a better idea of who the person is behind the coach. So again, good to have you, Seny. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, sir. And you?
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and dive right into it. As you can tell by Seny's name and a little bit of the accent, you're not exactly from around here. So, Seny, where did you grow up and how did you get into the game?
I'm from France. I'm originally from France. My parents are born in Senegal, who is East Africa, but I'm born in France and I grew up in France.
That's awesome. So, and I actually speak a little bit of French. Well, I shouldn't say I speak a little bit. I can say a few things. So, but I'm not going to embarrass myself at this point. I might ask you to say a few things in French here at the end of the podcast. But that's awesome. So, where did you grow up in France? What part of France?
I grew up in Cannes, who is the south.
Okay, yeah, that's the if I'm not mistaken, the famous film festival is there.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. What is it that? And it's also, is that part of the Riviera coast, or is that not is something different?
Yeah, we have the beach and everything, but now the river coast.
Okay. And Senegal. So when your parents originally from Senegal, I want to say. I'm trying to think if there's been any. What are some big name football players that have come from Senegal?
El Hadji Diouf, Sadio Mane.
Oh yeah, okay. So Mane's from Senegal. I was thinking there was one or two.
Yes, Mane is from Senegal.
That's awesome. So for those that have, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Benjamin Mendy, his dad is from Senegal.
Okay. Well, for those that have been living under a rock, Sadio Mane is the Liverpool striker that I guess had his breakout. I feel like at Liverpool. Where was he at before Liverpool? Do you remember?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Okay, no worries.
I'm not really a Liverpool fan.
Well, that makes two of us, but obviously. I have the utmost respect for Jurgen Klopp and what he's done, and obviously they're a strong side, extremely strong and gifted, and we'll see what happens with the rest of the season. So
yeah.
Well, so parents from Senegal, they immigrated to France. You grew up in France. Did your parents play soccer at all?
No, my dad used to be a referee.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and my siblings, almost all my brothers played soccer before, but no, my parents didn't play soccer, but they love soccer though. I grew up with soccer. We used to watch soccer every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night with my family. So like we all love soccer in my family. Like soccer is part of us.
Now how many siblings do you have?
I have 6 brothers and 4 sisters.
Oh wow, so very big family. And now do all of them play soccer?
Almost. We could have a soccer team, but some of my sisters decide to don't join the team. So
okay, fair enough. Well, there's always going to be one or two, right?
Yeah, always.
Always. Awesome. So when did you start? Now, I'm assuming I'm making the assumption that you played. I guess I shouldn't make that assumption, but you played. But did you to what level did you play? What's the highest level?
The highest level is semi-pro in France. Okay. I play. You have in Europe, you have those. I don't know how you can. You have those school, or like you have like a team who's playing soccer and going to school together, like a formation. and like that's where I play. So like it's soccer, it's like under the professional, like maybe under 16, something like that.
Okay.
Under 16. So that was the highest level I played.
Gotcha. And at what point did you fall in love with the game? I mean, it sounds like it was very early on in your life.
Oh, I started soccer when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
Usually in France, you started like at 4 or 5, but like because my brother was a soccer coach at that time, I just started to play very, very young. And like I said, I went to school and play soccer at the same time. Like soccer been part of my life for like since I'm 3. Like I never like spent like a month without to play soccer or like no way. It's just like part of my life. If you
Okay.
heard me, you heard soccer next to it.
So you've had a soccer ball at your feet for ever since you were 2.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're making it easy on me because it sounds like maybe one of your older brothers was a coach. Is that right?
Yes.
So is one of the later questions that I was going to ask, but I'll just jump into it. Is how you made the transition from being a player to being a coach? But it sounds like that one of your older brothers, maybe led the way in that and in becoming a coach. Was that your inspiration from making the transition from player to coach, or was there something else?
Yes, it's just the things like I have a lot of experience about soccer, about like I play different countries, I play different levels. So it would be very selfish for me to keep everything for me. So I very have this I think not this responsibility, but I feel like I want and I have to share those with like the future of soccer to help like to have a better soccer. Like the future of soccer has to be better than yesterday. So I think that's part of the process.
Awesome. So how did you end up in Oklahoma? You mentioned playing in different countries. Was there a point where you played outside of France?
Yeah, I played 3 months in England
Okay.
with some of my friends. The school was over for like 3 months, so we went like for like a formation vacation to like a lot of players from everywhere in the world went to that formation, and we played for like 3 months maybe,
Mm-hmm.
almost all the summer. So like I saw a lot of like different type of soccer, and so I played in France until I was 18 years old, maybe 19, and I decided to come to America, and I went to Barton Community College, which is situated in Kansas, and I did 1 year over there, and I finished my 2 other years in the USAO.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So the Drovers.
The Drovers, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So did you play with Danny?
I didn't play with Danny now.
Oh, okay. So you came in after Danny.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So Barton College in Kansas, and then USAO in Oklahoma, and I guess in a roundabout way that you answered the other question was how you ended up in Oklahoma was by way of USAO.
Yes.
How did you end up? You mentioned going to England and doing like a formation or a trial. Was the purpose of that was that to try to find a college or get recruited by a college?
No, it was just experiences.
Okay.
Like I said, the season in Europe end like around April, and going back like at the end of August. So I don't want to spend all this time just like vacation or just run and touch the ball. So I decided to try to like gain on experience and like see different type of soccer who can inspire me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why I moved over there.
Gotcha. Now, well, so how did you get recruited to Barton? What would that look like?
I used to have an agent, and I was going to school in France, and like I went like to learn, work on my English, and I wanted to move somewhere else and stay in France. And my agent proposed me like to say, hey, why not to go to college in the United States? And I was like, why not? So we made the videos of highlights of my games, and he sent to some college and junior college, and like Barton was very interested. So that's the reason why I went over there and I played it, and I did 1 season.
Awesome. And then you ended up you did well enough, or well, what drew you from Barton to USAO? Did USAO look to recruit you, or were you
Yeah.
looking to make a change, or?
The thing is, NIA gave me only 3 years of eligibility because of my years so my pro in France. So
Hmm.
they gave me 3 years. So after I was done with my JUCO, it was play one more year in the JUCO and after go to college. But any college, zero college will take you to play just for one season. So my plans was like to leave after the first year in Barton and try
Hmm.
to play in college. And like Coach Hampton was pretty interested about me. I was very interested about the program. I heard a lot of good things about it. And it's only like 2 hours away. And I already went to Oklahoma to watch the Thunder the year before. So I was like, yeah, I think everything went together, like that was pretty easy.
That's awesome. Now, so played in Barton, went to USAO, played 2 years at USAO.
Mm-hmm.
What position do you play?
Center back.
Center back. Okay. Now, how tall are you? Are you pretty tall? I haven't met you in person yet.
I'm a 6'3".
Six. So pretty tall. The prototypical modern center back now is
Exactly.
if you're not 6'2" or 6'3", you're small.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's awesome. Well, so you came over to the United States, played in college. At what point, was there some point while you were in college that you started coaching, or when did you get into coaching?
Um, After I finished my season at USAO, I had one more semester to graduate. So I went as a GA. So I went to the GA for the David team at USAO with Coach Joe Shepard. So that was the point. I was already interested by coach because like in school, when I was in school in France, was PE, my major was PE. We were already training as coaching different type of sports, and I was very interested about it. And I said, I think that's what I'm gonna do when I'm gonna be done with soccer. So when I'm done with my season, like Coach Hampton helped me like to coach the JV team, I very start to be like, well, I think that's what I want to do. And when he gave me the opportunity after that to put me in connection with Thomas Pico to coach with Newcastle High School this season, I very fall in love with coaching, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do, and I keep going this summer and this year with OKC now.
That's awesome. So, tell me, do you still get back to? Are you able to get back to France much before this the mess with the virus? Were you able to get back to France much?
Yes, usually I'm going to France once a year, and I'm staying between a year, a month, and a month and a half.
Okay, awesome. Now, where is any of your family able to come over and see you play or coach?
My brother came to see me last year for like he stayed maybe 2 months, and he saw me. He
That's
saw me.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what or you mentioned Coach Hampton, you mentioned Tom Pecor. Um, who has been at this point you're a mentor for you from a coaching perspective? Have you had one? Have you had one yet?
Mm, a mentor. I will say. Hmm, I will say Coach Hampton helped me about the fact about the connection you have to have with the players. He helped me. I grew up a lot with him as a player and seeing him coaching. It was very different. Like when I was in Barton, my coach was pretty similar than what I had in Europe. But when I came to USAO, like my first year was very hard as an adaptation to see the coaching are very different. So he very like made an impact about how coaching are here. So when I start to be coaching was very easier. I think he's part of it. And Thomas Pico, he helps me about training session, behavior with the kid, and how to see the players.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So going back to your childhood, did you have a team that you supported? Was there?
Right.
I'm sorry. What?
PSG. Paris.
Okay, yeah. Paris Saint-Germain. Um,
Uh, you have to like you when you grow up and you see Ronaldinho play for them, you're just like you fall in love for this team. You know when you see a guy like that, like have to keep going.
yeah,
And
that's the one thing about PSG is they are very much call it they bring in all the stars.
yeah, they do
The one criticism that you might have, and this is no fault of their own, is that they're so much better than everybody else in the French top division.
definitely. It's like a
And
it's
so
true. It's true. All the games are trainings for them, and the only real games are the Champions League.
yep, no, absolutely. Um, so were you fortunate enough to ever attend any PSG games?
I went to PSG games. I went to a lot of. I went 3 years ago, just before to come to the United States. I went to PSG Monaco. I was for the first game when Di Maria played the first
Okay.
game PSG, and he scored 2 goals. So that was the last game I watched from them.
Awesome. So what's been the most exciting game that you've been able to attend in person? Whether it was PSG or some other game, what's been the most enjoyable game, craziest game that you've been a fan at?
The most it's like the Classico from the for France. It's like PSG and Marseille. So
Okay.
they hate each other. They cannot look at. They hate each other. It's like who I can say. It's like Barcelona, Real Madrid, like 5 years ago when Carlos Puyol and everybody was on the pitch. So it was
Mm-hmm.
a very, very, very big deal, and that was a very big game for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's the biggest game that you've played in?
And the biggest game I played is two ones that I would say I have two big games. I would say the first big game it was when I won the title for the state back home in France,
Okay.
and that was one of my biggest games. And the other one it was 2 years ago with USAO. I think for the final conference final. I think that would be my biggest game.
That's awesome.
Or when we played against number one of the nation and we score and we won the game and they were like and they fielded during that season, so that was as well a very big game for me.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, playing center back, center backs typically aren't known for scoring goals, except possibly on set pieces. Uh,
Hmm.
have you scored many goals in your career?
Yeah, I scored goals. I
Okay.
used to be a striker when I was young. So
Oh, really?
when I was
Okay.
when I was young, like until like maybe 11, 12, I was a striker, and I played midfielder until like maybe 15, and from 15 to right now, I play center back. I keep going backward now. I'm probably gonna finish goalkeeper pretty soon.
There you go.
Yes.
Um, that's awesome, and actually, it just highlights that the nature of the game and the nature of being a player in the game, and that as you grow and mature, both physically, mentally, um, you can change where you're at on the field. I had a similar experience where when I first started playing, I started at the back and then went further up. Going from center back to midfield to striker, and then most recently I play indoor and I started playing goalie because I need to be out on the field running, but I'm too good at goalie, and indoor goalies are hard to find, or at least that's what they tell me. Nobody wants to play goalie on indoor.
Sure.
So,
That's
but
nobody.
that's awesome that you started at striker, moved back, and was it because of just your size? I mean, was that part of
I
it,
think
or
my ability. When I was young, I was maybe the tallest one on the field and the biggest one. So it was small field. So the goalkeeper kick the ball to me. I keep it, turn around, and try to give the good pass or try to score. It was pretty easy, and the defender had difficulty to stop me.
mm-hmm.
Um, I think as a midfielder, it was pretty much the same, but like maybe I wasn't enough technical on 1v1, but I had the that vision. I was good to see and read the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished on the back because of again my ability, and I think the fact that like I'm the type of center back who like strong but like to keep the ball and put it on the floor. So that's a good beginning to start to have. In Europe we like to play on the floor, so that I think that was one of the good things they wanted to have.
Well, and I know it seems like a lot of coaches in the modern game, they want that big physical presence in the back, but they also want, like you say, they want the a player who has the ability to control the ball and distribute from the back line,
Exactly.
either to the midfield or possibly over the top or over the diagonal to the wingers. So that's awesome. Um, what advice would you give to like a younger player who's just now starting out going into competitive soccer? So about the I guess 11 year old. What advice would you give to them? We're about to have tryouts here in the next couple weeks. I don't know if you had to go through many tryouts. It sounds like that you probably did, but
Yes, I did a lot of tryouts.
so what's some good advice? What advice would you give to those young players that are about to experience their first tryout?
Have fun. Have fun. Like if you don't have fun, like you're not gonna play good. That's the thing. If you cannot play good and don't have fun. That's not possible. So if you have fun, you're gonna play well. That's just it's going together. So just have fun. You playing the sport you love, right? So like you just have to go enjoy the weather, the ball, your friend around. That's those are times like those are the best time of the day. So just have fun. That's the thing.
That's awesome. Um, so, what advice would you give to a player that maybe they're entering the latter part of their club career and they're thinking about possibly trying to play, college or try to get into the professional ranks? What advice would you give to them?
Do your best and never quit.
Okay.
Never quit. Never give up. It's a thing I learned a lot. Is when uh, when I was doing my the preseason with Energy, the first team, a few months ago, I was talking to one of the center back who said, even if you don't sign you, Seny, you don't have to quit. Don't quit, because he explained to me his life. This guy did almost 10 tryouts. He stays sometimes 4, 5 months in a club practicing, and at the end don't get a contract. And 2 years after, he signed his first contract, and now he's living his best life. So that's just an example of what you have to do if you want to do what you want. Even if it's hard, even if you're gonna have people who are gonna say, "Oh, I don't know if you can" or something like that, you have to keep going and believe in yourself.
Absolutely. It's about hard work, putting in the hard work,
Yeah.
never quitting. Absolutely. So, what teams? I think you're on the is it 2010
Boys and girls.
boys and girls down in Newcastle.
Yep.
Awesome. So what would you say? What's a characteristic that you've seen, say in Jimmy Hampton or Tom Pecor that as you get started in your coaching career, you want people to see in you?
I want the players to understand and know they can trust me.
Okay.
That's a big thing. That's a Coach Hampton and because they really that's what they're making the team is even if they are very direct with the player, it's for you, it's for the good, it's for you, it's not for them. So you can trust and believe in them. That's what helps the player to feel good in the team, feel good when he's around you, and help him to play better and going up.
That's awesome. And absolutely, it's so true that you see the best teams, the best coaches. They build that trust within the team, within each other. and for each other. And then, it's you see the great teams fall apart when that trust is lost. You see that play out at the professional level all the time, where teams will just fall apart. They're spending tens and hundreds of millions of dollars for players and coaches, and you start to see the fighting and the things fall apart. So if you don't have trust, you can't be an effective team or effective coach. That's very, very true. Well, I guess I'm trying to think. You've been so easy to interview. What is you're from France. What's your favorite type of food?
Ooh, seafood.
Seafood. All right.
Yeah, seafood.
So if you could pick one restaurant, money wasn't money wasn't a problem. Where would you go? Where would you go in Oklahoma City? I know Oklahoma City is not famous for their seafood, but where would you go if you could eat anywhere in Oklahoma City?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I will go. I don't know the name of the place, but around the Lake Hefner, they have some very good places, a good restaurant.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's where I will go, definitely.
Okay. Now, if you went back home to Cannes, where do you have a restaurant that you go to, or were you always cooking? Or was your family cooking, or?
My family is cooking, but because I live away the beach, we have this restaurant where the seafood amazing is everything is fresh from the morning, so it's 10 minutes away from my place, and that's definitely where I'm gonna go every day of my life if I could.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Having fresh seafood makes a huge difference. That's why I hesitated to ask the question about seafood in Oklahoma City, just because obviously you look around and there's outside of Lake Hefner, and we have quite a few lakes, but it's just not the same as being close to the ocean and getting fresh seafood, going to the market in the morning. It's something. I went to Seattle a few years ago, and the market, Pike's Place is obviously famous for that, but anywhere where you're next to the ocean and get fresh seafood, that's awesome.
Definitely.
Well, so what do you see? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see West in 3 or 4 years? OEFC West.
Keep coaching. I would like to coach different type category, different age, so I can keep going up on my experience as a coach. So that's gonna build me and gonna help me to be a better coach, is to have a lot of experience. So that's what I want to do. Keep going to coaching and different categories.
Awesome. Well, Seny, enjoyed talking with you. Look forward to seeing you out on the practice field and at the game fields, and seeing you at tryouts this in a couple of weeks on June 6th with our camps on the 4th and 5th. You'll be with the 2010 girls and boys on the Newcastle side, but still tryouts will be at Taylor Park in Yukon. It was a pleasure talking to you, Seny, and meeting you virtually again, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Same. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the question. It was very interesting and nice to talk to you.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you to our members. Again, this was Stephen Nelson and Seny Gueye with OEFC West with the Person Behind the Coach podcast. Thank you, and everyone have a good evening.